The NOBL CRUSADE.
Well, Captain's Log, Stardate 1022.24. The state of manhood continues to free fall, and the prime directive for the NOBL CRUSADE remains to cultivate a spirit of excellence and self-mastery in today's man. We are exactly 2 weeks away from presidential election, which could be extremely consequential, which will be extremely consequential no matter which way it goes. And yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting ride the next few months in this country. So I think now more than ever, we're going to need to focus on the modern gentleman and leadership and masculinity and manhood and all of the above. So I kind of wanted to start today's episode off with my favorite president, Theodore Roosevelt. I said my favorite because I know that I acknowledge that he's probably not the greatest president. I think we can all admit that probably Abraham Lincoln holds that title, and rightly so. But I'm a little biased because Theodore Roosevelt is from New York, born and raised in New York. He was born sickly. I think he had like asthma. Um, his father, I think his father was always like, there's nothing you can do about it. You were just born frail and sickly, and you're never probably going to be a strong man. Wrong. Um, Theodore Roosevelt, he taught himself boxing, wrestling, hiking. He overcame all his like physical obstacles and literally became known as the strong man type. Literally, the word the term Rough Riders comes from Theodore Roosevelt. He overcame his circumstances, and he's you know that's one of the reasons why I admire him so much. I think it's one of the reasons he's on Mount Rushmore. Like, there's so many reasons, but um, he he overcame a bunch of stuff. I think his wife and his mom died on the same day, and that would have any other man would have just kind of destroyed him completely, but not Roosevelt. I think he went out, became like a rancher in Nebraska, or he became a lawman and was hunting down criminals on horseback, and just a man's man. He became a man's man, the president, the most powerful man in the world, really, and he expanded our navy. You name it, man. Yeah, his story is incredible. He famously said, "Do what you can with what you have where you are," which is do what you can with what you have where you are, which kind of hits home for me every time I read it, for different reasons, every time I read it or every time I hear it. Today was basically like, oh, I don't have a good microphone. I was talking with my girl. I don't have a good microphone for this podcast. I don't have a good camera. I need equipment before I start this off. And it's like, dude, do what you can with what you have where you are. Um, it's amazing. Oh, I think Booker T. Washington had a similar quote, and Theodore Roosevelt invited Booker T. Washington to the White House, which he got a lot of shit for because back then, I'm pretty sure. Let me fact check that. Maybe I'm fucking steering you guys the wrong way, but I think let's look up the quote first. I think it's like lay your bucket where you are, put down your bucket. So the quote, cast your bucket down where you are. Booker T. Washington. Another one of my heroes. Booker T. Washington is one of my heroes. I got the Up from Slavery right here. One of the greatest books. If you ever feel like poopy pants and oh woe is me, my life, my life is shit, or dude, read this book. Read this book. You will immediately be like, okay, what the fuck was I complaining about? Um, and let me fact check to see if Theodore Roosevelt had Booker T. Washington over at the White House. I think he did. Booker T. Washington and Theodore Roosevelt had a relationship that included Washington serving as an advisor to Roosevelt and the two dining together at the White House in 1901. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, that's awesome, dude. That's why, man, I don't want to get into politics or anything like that, but um, when they took down Theodore Roosevelt's statue in front of the museum, man, like the statue I've been seeing since I was a kid, it's fuck, man, fucking snowflakes. I won't say any more about that, but anyway, so um, key lessons from Roosevelt: um, physical discipline. Physical discipline. That's what I would take from that. Leads to mental toughness. Um, Morning routines, workouts, setting goals for yourself, like not letting your life's circumstances dictate who you're going to become. Another man would have been like, I have asthma. I'm a weak, sick kid. Like, I'm not going to ever amount to anything. Like my dad said, um, dude became known for being a man's man, a tough man, a rough rider. That's wild. That's encouraging. Um, yeah, Roosevelt lost his mother and wife on the same day, yet rebuilt his life by heading west to become a rancher. I'm pretty sure he became a lawman too, like he was hunting down criminals on horses. And yeah, it's like Theodore Roosevelt in the Badlands. I have a book on that one. A book I was reading on that too. Um, that's awesome. That's something I encourage you guys to study up on Theodore Roosevelt, on Roosevelt's life, and compare it, contrast it to yours, and see. This is how I think we become greater men, is by looking up other great men and what they've done and how they overcame stuff. It kind of sets the blueprint for us in our own lives. Um, and from, like I said, from that one, what you can draw is get after it, man. It doesn't matter. You might not even be sickly or weak or any of that. You might just be athletic and not doing shit. So you've been given the gift and you're not doing anything with it. Go get after it, man. Go to the gym, lift some weights. That's a main factor in why testosterone and masculinity is down in this country, is because we're not doing the easy things. We're looking for. I get people hitting me up like, "Yo, did you try these Mars pills, or did you try these, the Shilajit?" And I'm trying none of that. I'm having a baby right now. I'm in my 40s and I'm having a baby. I don't use any pills. I just go hit the gym, man. I hit the gym. I um, go for runs. I don't eat a lot of carbs. I don't stop eating rice. I stop eating uh, potatoes. If I do carbs, it's mainly kale and greens and maybe like from fruit. Some fruits have carbs, but I don't do any of that starchy shit. I just don't. I feel way better when I'm not doing that, and I feel better at the gym. I don't drink anymore. It's just these choices that you're like, do you want to have higher testosterone or do you want to drink? I'm not saying I don't ever drink. Like if the other day there's a special occasion, if I'm with my dad, if I'm with my brothers, um, if the occasion calls for it, then I'll smoke a cigar and drink some whiskey with my dad. That doesn't happen often. But on the regular, man, I don't, months and months go by and I don't have a drink. I just don't like how I feel at the gym the next day. So you got to do these things. You got to make these choices if you want to be better. It's not, a lot of times it's not rocket science. Why are we seeing these crazy numbers of men not feeling good or feeling lost or not feeling like they have any purpose in life? And it's not rocket science, man. Little things that you can do. Uh, Jordan talks about it all the time. What are these little things that you can do? You can take up more responsibility. If you're feeling like you don't have purpose in your life, look at where your responsibilities are. You're probably neglecting them. I can think of some that I'm neglecting right now, which if I paid more attention to, I will find more meaning in my life immediately. It's not rocket science. Like if you struggle with courage, another thing, courage. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out where your courage lies, because it's where your fear is. What are you afraid of? What are you most afraid of? For me, I was afraid of heights. I went skydiving. I'm not recommending you do that. I'm just saying that's where my fear was, so that's where my courage was. The fear is the dragon. Your courage is you facing that dragon. So that's where your courage is. And believe it was Plato who said, without courage, you can't get any of the other virtues. The other virtues stem from courage. You can't get discipline, justice, or wisdom. So start with courage. Figure out your courage. Where's your courage? Another one that I had a major fear of was stage fright. So what did I do? I got up on stage with my guitar and I played music over and over and over and over again until I build up my courage. I believe courage is like a muscle. It's a muscle. So you know, you have to work at it. Once you get your courage up, then you can move on to the next one, which is temperance or discipline. And you can move on to the next one, which is justice. But you need courage to face. If you lack courage, how are you gonna find meaning and purpose in your life? You're too afraid to face anything. Of course you're not gonna have meaning comes when you face things and you knock it out the park, and that's when you find the most meaning, when you're afraid of walking up to the girl at the bar and you muster up the courage and you walk over and you say the right thing or you say the wrong thing. You get rejected 3 out of 4 times, but on the fourth time, you get the yes, or you don't get rejected. And that's where the meaningful moment comes from, but it all stemmed from courage. So I agree with Plato on that one. Let me fact check, make sure it was Plato who said courage was the root virtue. I believe that's right. It might have been Socrates. Plato believed that courage is the whole of virtue, and that it's not possible to have courage without also having the other virtues. I thought it was the other way around. It's not possible to have the other virtues without first having courage. Plato believed that courage is the knowledge of all goods and evils, past, present, and future. That's interesting. A cardinal virtue. Plato considered courage to be one of his 4 cardinal virtues. Yeah, we know that. Along with wisdom, temperance, and justice. So yeah, I think what we said stands. Like courage is the root virtue. You can't really. It takes courage to have discipline, and it takes courage uh, to have justice, to know right from wrong, to stand up for the truth when no one else is doing that. So yeah, kudos to, I think Roosevelt had all that stuff. He definitely had the courage. He had those virtues that we see time and time again play out in many historical leaders and in many stories that um, we see even written about or in movies. When you see a leader in a good movie, they usually have these four virtues that we always talk about, which is they have courage, they have wisdom, so everybody's following them. If you watch any movie where people are stuck in some shitty situation and they all look to one guy, we're watching me and my lady are watching From right now, and everyone looks to this character Boyd because he displays these characteristics, these virtues, wisdom. He used to be a cop, so he courage. He can discern right from wrong, which is justice, and he can hold off on instant gratification, which is temperance. So time and time again, we see the same. We see the same. It's in every single leader. It's archetypal. It's plays out through history over and over again. So uh, this is why I think is lacking, and why masculinity is lacking, or in free fall right now, because we have to just. It's not rocket science, man. Like I said before. So um, it's time to develop those things within yourself and figure out how to do that. And I think courage is like we said, is the step one. I'm babbling now. I wanted to touch on codes of conduct for a gentleman, which um, which I think is important as well. The importance of conducting yourself with honor and grace in today's world. Honor. It's interesting because honor is something that used to be revered. Well, honor used to be sought after by men, and now it's kind of like a scoff. Like if you say, "I want to be honorable," it seems it's like a, oh, dude, that's corny, or that's it's not really sought after the way it used to be. But on the flip side, honor culture is prevalent and really big in the hood, where like you come from the inner city, it's all honor culture. That's why kids are shooting each other over stepping on each other's shoes, or you know, you talk to my girl, or like you disrespected me, so I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna shoot the whole block up. That's honor culture, but that's the complete opposite of what I'm talking about here, or what we should be talking about as men. The kind of honor that you want is integrity. Um, Integrity means speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable, or integrity is to act a certain way even when no one's looking, like to do the right thing when no one's looking. Um, there's a quote by Marcus Aurelius that says, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." It's a little cryptic because I'm like, the whole point is like, okay, I got you, Marcus, but like, what does it mean to be one? That's what we're. But he says, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. It's awesome, and also fucking annoying. Encourage listeners to evaluate their daily actions. Yeah. So another aspect to honor is respect and politeness. A gentleman treats others with respect regardless of their station. So regardless if you think you might be slightly above in status, or below in status, a gentleman is always respectful and polite. I think that's missing, and definitely missing in today's society, which is why we're seeing so much of this stuff that's going on with masculinity and manhood. The respect is not what it used to be. Self-reliance and responsibility. We talked about that earlier. Take ownership of your actions and your decisions. So wherever you're at in life right now It's on you. You're responsible for that. It's not the government's fault. It's not your mom's fault. It's not your dad's fault. It's not your best friend who fucked you over. It's not the white man. It's not the black man. Isn't it, bro? It's you. You did this, and that's fine. The minute you take accountability and responsibility for it, now you're on your path to purpose and meaning, because you want to figure out, okay, so it's all in your control. Everything that I have right now, it's mine. I own it. Now I can do whatever I want with it. You can bring it up, or you can keep wallowing and bring it down and keep blaming other people. But that's not honorable. Discipline and consistency. A gentleman does what he says he will do. This is one of my biggest hurdles in life, and I'm being completely honest. This is my biggest, not so much discipline, but consistency. I have struggled with this in the past. I don't want to say I'm working on it. It's done. I am consistent as of this moment. I'm working on speaking differently and changing the mindset, because even saying that I'm still struggling with consistency is not helpful. I am consistent. You have to change the way your internal dialogue has to change too if you're looking to become better. So consistency is something that used to be a hurdle for me, but now it's not anymore, because I'm taking ownership of my situation. And I suggest you do the same. Consistency is, if you say you're going to do something, then do it day in, day out, no matter what happens. And today I almost didn't do this podcast because reasons. Oh, no, I don't have a good mic. I don't have this, or I don't have that. I literally stole my son's webcam, and I'm recording this shit on my iPhone, the audio. We're getting it done. No mas. No more fucking excuses. No more bullshit. We're getting this shit done. So yeah, that's the honor that we need to promulgate in society, is integrity, respect, responsibility, and discipline and consistency. That, excuse me, that is the way I think we mitigate a lot of these issues we're seeing. My focus, like a lot of this stuff, I want to direct straight to the hood. Really, a lot of this stuff is, when I'm picturing who I'm talking to right now, it's not to some college kid in in the suburbs, or like, I'm glad if you're listening to this and that's who you are. That's fine. Maybe everyone needs a little. Everyone needs some guidance and some support. But who I'm thinking of when I'm speaking right now is that kid in Washington Heights and the Bronx and Chicago, who like knows there's something missing, but can't quite put the words to it. Knows that there's something going on, like there's something not quite right here. I should be living a little differently, but this is all I got. I got, hip hop culture telling me to do this, or like, Hollywood movies telling me this is the way I should do things. And it's like, no, man, we're being misguided. We're being misled. I I don't know if it's on purpose, or if it's just an incentive thing, but either way, the outcome is the problem. You judge a society by what it produces. And right now, the inner cities and the hood, what we're producing is not the best, man. It's not good. So something needs to give, and something needs to give quick, because young kids are losing more respect. Masculinity is through the floor. Responsibility is through the floor. All these statistics that we're seeing for the decline in masculinity, It just means there's less leaders, and that who's that going to affect most? It's going to affect the poor most, and the inner city kids most, and also the white poor kids in Appalachia too. Like that, this is not a race thing. This is a class thing. This is a we need to raise the bar for everyone, man. And I think that the way we do this, the way we do that, is by implementing some of these principles that have been around forever. They've been around forever, man. That's why you draw on history, and we draw on these men from the past who overcame stuff that you may be going through right now, and who probably dealt with it worse. Reclaiming physical and mental strength. That's the next part. So the last segment was about like a gentleman, what the codes of conduct for a modern gentleman. This part is increasing virility, reclaiming physical and mental strength. The modern man's virility has been diminishing due to lifestyle factors like poor diet, lack of exercise, and mental stress. I highly recommend, if you're listening to this, to go listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with Callie Means and Casey Means right now. Like, I don't care if you stop listening to this. Go listen to that and then come back. And then I think it's Tucker Carlson with the same. They're brother and sister who they started. He was in politics and she was a surgeon at Stanford. She was like the highest form of doctor you can be, and she just quit because she saw the corruption and like being uh, what's happening with the health in this country. So I go listen to that and you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, so here's how to reclaim your physical and mental strength. Tips for increasing testosterone and vitality. Strength training, like we said before. Lift weights and resistance training. Studies show that compound movements like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses naturally boost testosterone. So get out there, get to your local gym, do a shit ton of squats, start off with light weights, and then just slowly increase. Do a shit ton of squats, do a shit ton of deadlifts, and do a shit ton of bench pressing. Increase, increase, increase. If you need an actual like workout regimen, hit me up. Hit me up on the DM, email me, and I'll get one to you. Let me know. Just we'll talk back and forth about where you're at, how much you weigh, like how you should start off. I'm not an expert, but I'm here to help, and I do lift. So, sleep. The importance of 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is crucial for testosterone production and overall health. I didn't know this. I'm pretty good with 5 hours. I always thought I was, but apparently that's not the case. But so I upped it up to 6 hours. So I'm not exactly the best on in this particular area. I still get about 6 hours of sleep, but apparently you want to get 7 to 8, and it's crucial for testosterone production. So make sure you're getting 7 to 8 hours sleep. Avoid screens an hour before bed. Make sure an hour before bed you're not looking at your phone because it disrupts your sleep pattern. Diet. Focus on whole foods, diet rich in healthy fats. Healthy fats. If you're trying to boost your testosterone, get healthy fats. Avocado. I have avocados almost every day. Cut up some avocados, cut up some onions, put some olive oil in there with a little bit of salt, little touch of vinegar or lime. Dude, have that with every meal. I have that for breakfast with my eggs, have it for dinner. Just consult your physician. My boy told me to say that over and over again. Don't listen to anything I say without consulting your physician. And cut out processed foods and sugar. Cut out all processed foods and sugar. Chronic stress releases. Reduce stress. So when you're stressed out, you produce a lot of cortisol. Cortisol is known to kill testosterone. it's a testosterone killer. So what I would do, what I've been practicing recently is not recently, I've been practicing for a while, but I've revisited meditation. Meditation is crucial, is super beneficial for regulating your moods and your cortisol, and I think it helps with meditating helps with pretty sure you should like your brain releases either dopamine or serotonin. I'm not sure which one. Look it up. But meditation is key. Make sure you like do like 5 minutes every day. Start with 5 minutes and then slowly increase, add a minute here, a minute there. But chronic stress releases cortisol, which is not good for your T levels. Practice deep breathing. Focus on your breathing. Do that over and over again for 5 minutes. That will help tremendously with your T levels. So these are the little things you can do for free. You don't gotta go buy pills. You don't gotta do just like we said before. Stay consistent with it. Cold showers. Cold showers has been linked to increased testosterone and mental resilience. Encourage showers with 30 seconds of cold water. So 60 seconds of like just for a minute or two. You don't got to do a lot, and slowly, like we said with the meditation, you increase it, and you'll be good to go. All right, man. I want to sign off. We're almost done here. About to wrap up. Captain's log, star date 1022.24. Here's some quotes. The man who has no inner life is the slave of his surroundings. The man who has no inner life is the slave of his surroundings. Henry Frederic Amiel. I don't even know who that is. Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, no outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So that's Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. The next one is, the way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. I got that one. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. Socrates. That one's cool because that one is like kind of like be the change you wish to see in the world. Oh no, yeah, kind of. That's more like the self that the you that you envision, be that, and then you'll get a good reputation. What if the uh, what if you're a sociopath and the you see is a terrible person, and then you get a terrible reputation? I don't know about that one, Socrates. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. What if you desire to appear something not so good? I get what you're saying though. That makes sense. A good reputation. What are you doing? Walking around my podcast. But I get that one is meant to be, if you're trying to be a good reputation. Yeah. So the way to gain a good reputation is to it's kind of in there that you're wanting to be good. So yeah. Some practical tips for daily discipline and self mastery. We said this: meditation, 5 to 10 minutes, can create focus. Exercise, prioritize movement before anything else. So as soon as you get up, try to go out for a walk or a run or stuff like that. This one is this one is important. Journaling. Try to journal, even if it's something that doesn't come easily to you. Just every morning, like do what they call morning pages. Luna, do what they call morning pages. Just write down, get a pen, pad, and just write whatever comes to your head. Like whatever. Just like brain dump it for 2 or 3 pages. You'd be surprised what comes out of there. Sometimes it's like poetry comes out, and you're like, who the fuck wrote that? Like, it wasn't me who wrote that. It's pretty awesome. And then what I usually do that the brain dump first thing in the morning. Then I'll flip the page. Then I'll start talking like, hey, captain's log, star date 1022.24. Just I usually start all my journal entries off, hey, old man. I'm talking to my old man, like whatever you believe in, your higher self, you when you're older. I'm like, hey, old man, today this shit happened. Life is crazy. And just document what's happening in your life. It's really helpful. It's really helpful. The cold exposure we just spoke about, and then just keep a log. Keep a log of all the stuff that you're doing, your victories, your setbacks each day. Reflect on your little wins, and um, you know, yeah, optimize, optimize every day towards excellence and self mastery. This is the road to self mastery. This is how you do it. This is everything we spoke about today. You just slowly but surely start knocking things out the park, and you will see major changes in your life. Like the universe will start like reaching out and meeting you halfway if it's easier doing the things you need to do to better yourself. So yeah, man, this was a good again first podcast as the new brand. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too, and make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, and we're gonna be putting these out consistently like we said before. All right, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.